As I stormed out of the house, I waved goodbye to my mother with my middle finger, knowing that I would have to pay for that ludicrous decision when I get back home. My blood was pounding, and I just kept reassuring myself that I only had to live in this household for one more year, and I would be off to college. It had become a routine for me now. Wake up, fight with mom. Eat, fight with mom. Go to school, fight with mom. Sleep, fight with mom. It was a never-ending cycle, and neither my mom nor I took any action to overcome this disastrous battle. All of the troubles with my mom began to disappear from my mind as the mirages on the road of this hot summer day, while I drove to work listening to the thumping music blaring from the radio station. I started my shift at the hospital by peeling off the patient labels and placing them on the pink sheets. A robotic peel, stick, and fold. But suddenly one file caught my eye. A patient's birthday read, August 2nd, 1967. She's only a year younger than my mom, and her birthday is today. I had a very sudden urge to go see her, and to this day I don't know why. Perhaps it was a sign from a higher power. Perhaps I was just feeling overly emotional. I knocked on the door quietly, but the sound was barely audible due to the loud beeping of the machine next to her. As I stepped in, my full attention was directed towards her. The heart monitor's beep continued, although she lay there comatose with her silky brown hair hastily tied in a braid. When I peered closer, I saw a huge, colorful happy birthday banner that appeared as if it was written by a toddler, and a pain-stricken smile appeared on my face. My gaze darted from her lolling tongue that was hanging out of her mouth to the frame with a photo of 3 kids, a teenage boy and a toddler. Also in the picture frame was a passport-sized photo of a newborn. I smiled, although I could feel the tears welling in my eyes. The day dragged on, and I couldn't help but think about her children. One was about the same age as I was. What would happen if she didn't make it? The sensitivity of such circumstances forced me to continue to think about this woman throughout the entire day. I went back to my peel, stick, fold routine, but all I could think of was the patient in room 201. What if my mother was in the same hospital bed that this woman lay in? Her children are probably broken inside. They would probably give anything to be held in their mother's arm. Here I am, counting down the days until I leave my mother's presence. What kind of horrid human being had I become? Why am I defying every word that comes out of my mom's mouth, knowing that she is right? Why have I turned my back on the religion that I so strongly believe in just to aggravate my mother? I had become indifferent to my mother, the woman who fasted and prayed on her prayer rug for months on end to conceive me, who left her home and her comfort in Bangladesh to give birth to me in a land where I can be free and safe. I had let down my mother, although she had put me before everything else in her life. What puzzled me the most is why I had made my mother my enemy when she was my best friend since the day I was born. In fact, my mother and I were so alike it was somewhat scary. Both of our favorite colors were black and red. She has a beauty mark just under her lip like I do. I fold my palms across my chest when I get cold, just like my mother. A tear fell on the balloon that I had been drawing on the happy birthday card. I knew then and there that I would be shattered if anything happened to my precious mother. I drove back home after my shift, but this time I was lost in my blaring loud thoughts. I was thinking of what to say to my mom when I saw her. As I opened the door to my apartment, I saw my mother sitting on the couch, hemming the slacks that were an inch too long for me. Everything that I had rehearsed to say to my mother had gone blank in my head, and all that I could possibly do was sob and hold my mom. My mother has become my security blanket. No matter how bad of a day she had, she will always be there with a shoulder to cry on and a sympathetic ear for me. This unpredictable instance of sorrow allowed me to rekindle my bond with my mother, who is the most valuable asset in my life, and I owe it all to the patient in room 201.